Hello, I'm Chef Leanne. I live and work in the fabulous Florida Keys. We're here at my location, Clouds in the Coffee Catering, also an event location called The Table. We're in the heart of the fabulous Florida Keys in Marathon, mile marker 50. And we're all about fishing in the Florida Keys. Today's fresh catch is Mahi, also known as dolphin. No, it's not flipper, it's a bull-nosed dolphin, and it's plentiful here in the Florida Keys. I'm going to be doing a traditional Bahamian style fish soup. It's great for hangovers, so the Bahamians like having it in the morning. And since I'm going to stick with the traditional Bahamian soup, I'm going to serve it with yellow grits. So first I'm going to go ahead and start the grits. So this is my version of grits. I'm using a cornmeal instead of white grits that you would normally use. In my household, since I grew up with Italians, we made a lot of polenta. So that's using a polenta recipe but making it into the grit style. A little bit of a spin. So I'm starting with some shallots and some olive oil, just to give them a little bit of a translucent. Equal amount of milk. And some butter. All right, we're gonna bring that to a boil, and then I'm gonna add half a cup of the yellow grits. Give it a good stir. And with grits, it's good to keep stirring it while it's cooking. Get that nice creaminess. The butter and the milk is going to help with that creaminess. All right, we're going to let this cook for a couple of minutes. All right, so we've got some nice creamy yellow grits. I'm just going to set those aside because we're going to have them later with our fish chowder. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the mahi. Mahi has a pretty big bloodline, so we're going to make sure that we cut that out. Get rid of that. Mahi is actually really high in B12 and potassium. It's very healthy. It's good for high blood pressure. It's also really good for fatigue. So, and the mahi is very plentiful out there, and they travel in schools, so you usually never catch just one mahi, but you catch a lot of them. And the season is all year long. It's a deep water fish, yet they like eating on the surface. All right, I'm gonna take some lime and marinate this fish. Like I said, this is traditionally served in the morning in the Bahamas because it's a really great hangover food. So it's gonna be loaded with a lot of citrus, and I'm gonna add some chili peppers to it too. So it's gonna have some serious heat. Mahi, when they're in the water swimming, they have this beautiful rainbow color, like it's aqua blues and greens and yellows. And they're absolutely gorgeous to watch them in the water when they're chasing the bait, because you could see that fluorescent color. And then once they catch the bait, they jump out of the water, and it's one of those like, wow. It's a fun fish to catch. It's considered a sport fish because there's a challenge in getting it to the boat. All right, so while that's marinating, we're gonna go ahead and start on the soup itself. Okay, so we're gonna start with some bacon. Bacon's gonna be the fat that I'm gonna use in this dish. It's also gonna have a really great aromatic when it's cooking. And like I said, they eat it in the morning for breakfast, so why not use breakfast food, right? All right, we'll get that started. And then we're going to layer it with some potatoes, onions, lemons, and I'm gonna put a Scotch bonnet pepper. Scotch bonnet they're very hot on the spectrum. I would use gloves if you're going to chop it. And I would probably start very light if you're not familiar with the Scotch bonnets, because they are very spicy. I like the flavor of them and I like the heat, so I'm gonna go ahead and do half. And don't use the seeds, because the seeds is what's the hottest part of the pepper. Okay. Okay. Those peppers ready. Throw that out. All right, so on top of the bacon, we're gonna put the marinated fish. I'm gonna start with the onions. Lots of onions. I'm gonna put some lemon slices in there. And then the sliced potatoes. You know, because you usually, when you're catching the mahi out here and you get so much of it, coming up with different new recipes is always fun. So that's why I'm trying to show you something that's a little bit different than what you would normally have, because you're gonna have a lot of fish. And you just want to put enough water to cover the potatoes. There we go. And then I'm going to top that with the peppers. And then I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Also, a twist that I like to add to this recipe that is not authentic to the Bahamian is some turmeric. Turmeric is also really good for you for inflammation. So this soup will ail all kinds of things. I'm going to use some fresh thyme that we chopped up and some black pepper. All right, we're going to bring this to a boil, and it needs to cook about 15 to 20 minutes. So the flavor is spectacular, the heat level is perfect. I did use almost a whole habanero pepper instead of half, but it's perfect. The heat level is spot on if you like spicy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plate this. I'm gonna start with the yellow grits in the center of the bowl. Yeah, and I'm starting to sweat from that pepper. But when you have a hangover and this is what you want to sweat. All right, then lay all this yumminess on top. me get a little bit more of that fish. Put it right on the top there. And there you have it, Bahamian style fish soup on top of my yellow grits. If you'd like to see more of me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Clouds in My Coffee Catering, or you can go to my YouTube channel, Chef Leanne in the Florida Keys. Or hey, if you're on vacation here in Marathon, stop by. I'm at the table. The fish is biting.